Okay, 11 here is the second part of the homework paper, the one you've just sat for the mock, which is November 2018. It's the numeracy paper. Okay, I've got the solutions already written because I did actually just do this video and it crashed, so I'm just going to talk you through the solutions again. This video is going to be in two parts because it crashed. So question 7, they've given you some wallpaper and some information at the top, but basically you've got some parallel lines. So as soon as you see parallel lines in a question, you need to start thinking about F angles, corresponding angles, Z angles alternate, and interior angles. So when you've got two parallel lines, if you've got like a C shape, then the angles inside there would add up to 180. So if we look at A first of all, I've got my like parallel line there, and I've got my little C shape there. And these angles inside here would add up to 180 degrees. So if that's 125, A has got to be 55, because 125 plus 55 makes 180. For part B, we've got an F here because you've got two parallel lines coming down here, and you've got a line here which makes an F here. So this angle here and this angle here are going to be the same. So that's 76, so B is going to be 76 as well. Then C and B are angles on a straight line. You should know angles on a straight line are up to 180. So if that's 76, this one's got to be 104. So C is 104. Then D, there's a couple of ways you can work it out, but probably the quickest way, I've got another F here, and that angle there and that angle there are the same because I've got two parallel lines there. So that's 76 and that's 76, and then you've got angles on a straight line here which add up to 180. So if this one is 76, D has got to be 104. 76 plus 104 makes 180. Question 8, you're given some information about Mrs. Butler's friends and how many pairs of shoes they owned, and they've got the table here. And part A asked you which is the modal group. Well, the mode means the most, so it's the most common group. Well, the most common group is going to be 13 to 18 because there's 8 people in that group, which is the biggest number. Mrs. Butler says most people in Wales own more than 12 pairs of shoes. Is Mrs. Butler correct in using this data to come to this general conclusion? You must give your reason to your answer. And it's no, and the reason is that she's only asked 14 people, which is not really a big enough sample size to base the number of shoes that people own in Wales on. So she's only asked 14 people, which is a small, very small sample size. C, it says write down different groups Mrs. Butler could have chosen so that all of the data can be analysed more accurately. So basically all you need to do there is make the groups a little bit smaller. So you're drawing it the exact same table, but you're using smaller groups. So I've decided to go up in groups of 2, really, 3. So I've got 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 to 12, 13 to 15, and 16 to 18. Question 9. Jade is planning a weekend break, which costs £350. Her father said that if she saves 21% of her earnings for the next 20 weeks, he will give her the rest of the money that she needs, and she earns £72 a week. So if she's going to save 21% of that, you need to work that out first. So you've got to work out 21% of 72. So without a calculator, probably the easiest way to do this, work out 10%, then 20%, then 1%, you can add your 20% and your 1% together. So to 10%, you're just going to divide by 10. So 72 divided by 10 is £7.20. And then if I double that to get 20%, that's going to be £14.40. To find 1%, I've just got to divide 72 by 100. 72 divided by 100 is 0.72. And then to get 21%, I'm going to add this one and this one, which gives me £15.12. So that's how much she's going to save per week if she saves 21%. She's doing that for 20 weeks, so you need to multiply that by 20. So you've got to do 20 times £15.12. Probably the easiest way to do that, I would do split 20 up into 2 times 10, and then I could do 10 times £15.12 and then double my answer. So 10 times 15.12 is 151.2, and then if I double that, that gives me £302.40. So that's how much you would have saved. If father said he's going to give her the rest, so the holiday costs £350. So if you take away the amount you've saved from the cost of the holiday, that means that the father would have to pay £47.60. Okay, question 10. You've got a hut here which is on a rectangular base, and it says sketch a plan view of the mountain mountain hut. So a plan is basically what you would see if you were looking directly down from above. If you imagine yourself being an airplane and you look down on top of a house, that's what you would see. You would have a rectangle or shed. You'd have a rectangle with a line down the middle where the peak of the roof is. So that's what it would look like from above. Part B, it says the mountain hut is shown on a map. The scale of the map is 1 to 50,000. So that means 1 unit on the map is 50,000 in real life. So on the map here, you're told that 4.2 centimeters is the distance from the mountain hut from the farmhouse. So you need to times that by 50,000 to get the real distance of how far the hut is away from the farmhouse. So you've got to do 4.2 times 50,000. There's a couple of ways of doing it. What I did was times by 10,000 and then times by 5. So if you times by 10,000, you're going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4 places because you've got 4 zeros. So that gives you 42,000 and then times by 5. So that gives me 210,000 centimeters. I need to change into kilometers. So I've divided by 100 because there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. That gives me 2,100 meters. And then I divided by 1,000 because there's 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. And that gives me 2.1.